Good evening and welcome to Let's Talk Access, a social media program produced and presented by the UWI Global Campus, opening doors to life-changing learning. I'm your host, Cherise Glasgow, and thank you for joining us from wherever you are on the World Wide Web. Today, we speak to two of our 2025 graduates of the UWI Global Campus, and they represent two of our Global Campus countries. You will hear their stories, their experiences, and just their overall interactions while studying at the UWI Global Campus. Before we introduce our guests, we want to send well wishes to our colleagues and fellow Pelicans in Jamaica. As you may know, they would have been affected by the passing of Hurricane Melissa, and we continue to keep them in our prayers. And if there is anything you can do to help them material-wise, please feel free to do so. So let's get into our program. My very special guests today are Miss Makessa OG, she is from St. Lucia, and Shane Brewster from Barbados. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Let's Talk Access. It's a pleasure having you on today. We are going to let you introduce yourselves and share a bit more about who you are and what you studied at the Global Campus.
Hi, good evening, everyone. I'm Makessa Oje from St. Lucia. I studied a BSc in Banking and Finance with a compliance and corporate governance minor. I selected that degree because I work in the field of compliance. I've been in the field for 7 years, so it seemed like the perfect degree for me to pursue.
Good evening, everyone, and thank you for having me. My name is Shane Brewster. I am from Barbados, and my degree is in Bachelor of Science in Marketing, as I have been in sales and marketing for most of my life, I should say. And I have recently graduated from this year will be my graduation year with first class honors in marketing. It's something that I always loved and will continue to pursue, hopefully, to do my master's in the coming year. So, thank you very much.
Awesome. So before we get deeper into the program and hear about some of your experiences, we have a short icebreaker session where I would let you select a question between 1 to 20 and you are free to answer that one. So who is going to go first? Ladies first or Shane, because you're on the mic already?
I can go first.
Okay.
7.
7. Okay, 7. Describe your ideal study snack that got you through online classes.
My ideal study snack. Whatever was the quickest thing I could, whatever took the least amount of time to prepare.
Mhm. That sounds reasonable.
Yes.
All right. I will go with number one.
Number 1, wow. If you would, if you could go back to your first semester and give yourself one piece of advice, what would it be?
Prepare for some long nights and little sleep.
Yes, we'll definitely hear more about that.
Long nights, little sleep, and it's going to be worth it at the end.
Okay,
Yeah.
some awesome advice. So we want to encourage those who are viewing on our social media platforms. Feel free to put any questions you will have in the chat and I will relate them to our colleagues here on the panel. So what everyone wants to know, why did you choose the global campus to pursue your studies?
I will go first. I chose as because I'm a husband, a father, and working. It was easy in terms of the flexibility that Global Campus offered in terms of online studying at a pace that is suited for me and with my 9 hour job. And it made it easy for me to be able to come home on evenings and access the Global Campus learning, the e-learning center, and was able to do what I had to do. Plus, two, I could have paid in a pace that was easy for me. There was the affordability of paying in installments instead of trying to have to pay upfront and the amount that the degree could have cost. So for me, it was that ease. It was that ability to come home, do work at my pace, and plus to the world, in my view, the world was going online. So for me to be able to do research using the search engines like Google and Bing and be able to help find information online allowed me to be more competitive going forward, as you say. As of younger people coming up, I am a little older than most people will know, so I won't say my age in this forum, but um, it kept me competitive and it kept me in the ability to understand there's just more to Google looking for something like a quick link to watch a movie or to go shopping, but to do more to get information and to become broader or expand myself and make myself more marketable. So I enjoyed that. That's why I did it for the online experience and the functionality, the easy ability to go online and do my work.
So,
Yeah, I think Shane covered everything that I would have said as my reason for choosing Global Campus. The flexibility was definitely at the top of the list of my reasons for choosing it. It allowed me to stay in the profession that I am while still pursuing my degree. So I did not have to put anything on hold.
awesome. So then, based on what you both just shared, what coming out of that, what would you say access means to you? Especially, access is one of the three pillars of the global campus's mission to support students across the region.
Access for me means convenience of being able to get information when I need to, get on the UV global site when I need to. And I found that was something that was access 24/7. The convenience of doing that. That's what access means to me.
Yeah, the online forum, the accessibility of it, as opposed to, you'd have to turn in assignments in person. I could be at work submitting an assignment. I could be on the road submitting an assignment. I did not actually have to be in an actual physical place and hand in an actual assignment. So that accessibility was one of the reasons why I also decided to pursue my degree with UE.
Awesome. So we just want to take this time now to remind those who are watching or those who may watch this recording later that our application process remains open for all programs for the semester starting in January 2026. So if you want to pursue your undergraduate studies, you have until Monday, December 15th to submit your application. And for your postgraduate programs, that is for example, like your master's, your postgraduate diplomas, and your doctoral studies, you have until Sunday, November 30th. You can log on to our website at global.ue.edu/apply. That is global.ue.edu/apply. So, Shane would have told us earlier what was one thing he wished he would have been able to tell himself at the beginning of starting this course of study. Tell me, what's one thing about the global campus experience that might surprise new students?
It's
For me,
amazing how many
go ahead, go ahead, go ahead.
it's amazing how many people you come across during your tenure at Global Campus? When I started this, I'm kind of an introvert, so I'm like, okay, I'm just going to do my assignments, log in, submit. But a lot of the people I met along the way, I mean, some of them have actually had a hand to play in advancing myself in my career. You meet a lot of different people along the way that leave an impression on you. So that was, to add to what Shane said in the beginning, that was something that I should have told myself in the beginning, to be more open, to be more open-minded, and to network yourself. UE is the perfect place to network yourself.
I agree. I agree totally because one thing I've learned with UE was the ability to, as perfectly said, network yourself, meet new individuals. As Kesa said, understanding people, and you're working now with people who are not next to you from your same demographic or background, but people from the Caribbean diaspora. So you're meeting people who are from different backgrounds. Dominica, St. Lucia, Trinidad, Jamaica, Antigua, but you find there's a common unity and a common goal. And I found that to be beautiful. I experienced that a lot actually because I was part of the regional guild of executives as well. So I was able to even experience that even more by visiting Jamaica and Antigua for some guild executive activities and being able to take part in the culture and understand how their culture works, how they see things. And you'll be surprised and you can see the one Caribbean because everyone has that goal to succeed, to help each other, to grow. And even in our frustrations, like group projects, perfect example, we, as Kesa perfectly said, people helped me to become better. So I must say that you'll be surprised how well you can work with someone who you have never met and may never physically meet, but you meet them online and you're able to get work done. And that is a beautiful thing.
Awesome. Well said, Shane. Especially, let's just go deeper into that point. Studying with students from other Caribbean nations, I know some persons will have a misconception. They already have their preconceived notion. They might be their first time experiencing working because even though you're at school, you're literally working with persons from different parts of the Caribbean and world because even though our reach is mainly in the Caribbean, we have students from Africa and beyond. So, in terms of the Caribbean, how did studying with students from other Caribbean nations change your perspective on the region's shared challenges or opportunity? And do you think that there's any element of Caribbean unity or diversity that stood out for you during your studies?
Yeah, it really made you realize, like Shane was saying, that we are one Caribbean. We share one common goal. And actually speaking to people from those different countries, you realize that, and we have a lot of similarities in the way we think in our cultures. You'd speak to somebody, and I remember speaking to somebody from Barbados, and I'm like, I didn't know y'all do that too. We do that in St. Lucia. So it makes you realize that we really are one Caribbean. We really are different countries. We might be separated by seas, but we really are the same people. Different accents, but the same people.
Mm, very well
And,
said.
correct. And to add, you see people who have some brilliant minds. Brilliant. I mean, I've met people who are able to do things that you sometimes you sit down and you tell yourself, oh, that's someone like, you grew up in an environment, unfortunately, where you're hearing, oh, people from overseas have that sort of mentality. But no, it's actually in the Caribbean. That sort of, I've got to get it done. I got to be a great achiever. I'm a goal setter. I'm going to get it done. I'm going to be set my standards high and I'm going to achieve it. Not just shoot for the stars, but they're going far. They're going past the stars. They're going where no man has gone before. And that mentality, that drive, I found to be growing more and more. Um, Especially when you're doing in the online studying with in the campus itself, you found students just want to get the best grade possible with the opportunity given. And that is something that I was proud to see and experience. And I've met, and I'll be honest with you, I've actually have friends to this day now who we talk to each other maybe a couple of days in a week, saying hi, how you doing, just by that, even though we're no longer working together in courses. And I think that is great. Where you see the Caribbean unity is that we love each other, we have common grounds. You find people that like certain foods, like certain drinks. My mother's St. Lucian, so I'm able to relate to people from St. Lucia, and I have family in St. Lucia. I have family from Trinidad, so I'm able to relate to the people from Trinidad. I've been to Jamaica, able to relate and understand their culture. So it was fun. That aspect of it I thought was really, really fun. I think that's something that people need to just push more. Understand that we are all equal.
That is awesome. So Shane, you're
To
definitely a
just add to what
Caribbean man.
Sheen said,
Yes, I am.
to
This
add
is
to
true.
what Shane said about the drive, I think part of the drive that we have in the Caribbean comes from being such a small dot on the map. We have to, we I think we are forced to work harder to make a mark, make an impression out
Mhm.
there. Because you go to the States and you see Caribbean people excelling. Everywhere they go, they excel because we have to be seen. I mean,
Yeah.
geographically, we're not that out there,
Mhm.
but we ensure that academically we do make an impression in the world.
Yeah. And we also have to work harder because there's this preconceived notion that I'm not sure if it's still as prominent that we are less than, that we are just here in the Caribbean, going to the beach, drinking coconut
Yes,
water. We
yes.
are hustling just as hard as persons the in UK or in America or wherever.
It's still something that is still there. You still hear people saying they didn't expect to see all this. They're only seeing beaches and they're thinking about, hammocks and relaxation. And even hear people saying, oh, the Caribbean, people are chill, they're very relaxed. But they don't see sometimes how much effort we put in to give you that product, how
Mhm.
much effort is behind the infrastructure for the other areas that integrate into that part to make you feel relaxed. And I agree with Kessa. We have to do sometimes three times as hard to prove ourselves. And we want to be proved because we want to show that we're just not a little dot or a little nation that got people running about that don't know, as a man once said, in grass skirts and hammocks and huts. And yeah, people did say that. They thought the Caribbean people were people that were living in huts and mud houses because that's the conception they're given, the misconception. So it is great to see that we do that because we want to show the world that we are great. And some of the greatest minds today have come from the Caribbean. And we've had people who showcase that um, from our music, from culture, from the music, even to in our politics. You're seeing great minds, and even in medicine. So yeah, and
Yeah.
athletics. Can't forget
Yeah.
athletics.
Yeah. So true. And it's good. I find one of the preconceived notions that persons that aren't maybe not are fully aware of the UWA Global Campus may have, they don't even know sometimes that there is a Caribbean university that they can have the same quality education and it's affordable right here. They don't even have to leave their homes. Did you experience anything where maybe your colleagues would have thought prior that the quality of the material or the level of teaching that there would have gotten wouldn't have been up to the standard as, say, for example, somewhere in America or England or somewhere like that, Canada?
I haven't, no, to be honest with you, I haven't had anyone say anything in that aspect because most of the students who have met, UWE was their option because going
Mm-hmm,
overseas was not an option for them in terms of finances.
mm-hmm,
But based on people who I've known outside of you who have already graduated, um, no, hearing what they say is very similar. When you do online courses, it's very similar. Actually, some of them even say you don't even get to meet a tutor; you just get a recording.
mm-hmm,
so, so it's when we have those live sessions with tutors, some of them say that's a privilege because
mm-hmm,
you get a recording and you that is where you any information you need, you have to send emails and wait. So it has its benefits in certain areas, yes.
I've actually had people tell me UE is harder
Mm-hmm.
than the American universities.
Mm.
Yeah.
Mm.
And I find that that's not unbelievable because you look at the American standard of some of their work from like primary school, secondary school, and you can see in the Caribbean our work is harder. So I can believe that UE is probably harder than those American universities.
Our rigors of testing are definitely more, intensive, which
Hmm.
is a good thing because when you're finished, you know you're getting a quality
It's
degree.
true.
It's true. And you're correct. You're absolutely correct.
So I want to ask both of you, what was the highlight of your program? We've spoken about your experience, so to speak, in terms of meeting persons and networking and the Caribbean effect, but the actual programs that both of you did, what was the highlight there for you?
I think the highlight for me was seeing how I applied what I learned in my profession. Because a lot of times people tell you, I don't even use my degree. I don't know why I did that. I don't use my degree. But a lot of the courses I did because I work in compliance. So, for example, I did a course financial regulation. Some of the things that I learned and that I was able to actually apply in my profession. So I think that was definitely the highlight, knowing that I'm actually using my degree was the highlight.
For me, was the ability to learn not just marketing, but how it branched out into financial marketing, financial management, project management, MIS. So it gave you for my degree, it gave me a broad management understanding before I started to target the core values of marketing. And with that, it was allowed me the ability to actually get a promotion. To promote it from, I'm no longer in sales and marketing, I'm actually an assistant manager for a different department just because I was able to apply it perfectly, as Kessa said, apply the things that I learned outside the marketing part section of the degree. I was able to use it in my real life, and that allowed me to actually be highlighted for my company and be promoted. So yes, I think that that understanding the degree, just not looking at just the one part of it, but look at the entirety of it, it helped me to grow. It helped me to achieve something that I didn't believe I could have achieved beforehand.
Yeah, congrats, Shane. That is very
Thank
good
you.
that you were able to apply that knowledge and to get a promotion.
Yeah.
So these
Yes.
degrees are definitely not just theoretical, they're very practical. You can
Mhm.
hit the ground running. Both of you are already in your fields and you were still able to expand on your knowledge and really put that into your work. And Shane here got a promotion. That is excellent.
Mhm. Thank you.
I want to ask you, sometimes a lot of persons within the Caribbean, especially in the countries Barbados, Trinidad, Jamaica, where they have the landed campuses, it may be a bit different for Makessa because St. Lucia, their landed campus is the UWA Global Campus site. So a lot of them might be more accustomed to going to a landed campus. They're coming straight out of probably community college where they're always face to face to now going to an online platform. How did both of you, I'm not sure what your background was before in terms of campuses, how did you cope with the technology and the online studies? And were there any tools or resources you would have used to help you with your online studies?
Honestly, it goes back to me saying network yourself and make friends because a lot of the things that I was unable to do, it was people who I met through UE that showed me how to really navigate the learning exchange. So that was one of the ways that I was able to learn how to navigate using technology for school.
Right. Because coming out of school, the technology, we didn't use the internet and stuff like that as much. So coming into this year was a thought it was a learning curve for me. And as just as Kessa said, I actually help ask people to help me who I met through online in my first semester, in my first course, to say, hey, I'm not sure how we can navigate, but we gonna learn together. Whatever you learn, and I don't know, I can learn from you, and the same vice versa. And we were able to grow, and I was able to grow that way as well. And with the new technologies, and what assisted me also was, as I said, Google. You know, you use Google, you use the search engines to help get information, because that's basically it. Because even the course guide or the course information, in terms of like what they give you for texts for each of your subjects that you had to do, may not expand or expound enough on what you need. So you had to learn how to use the internet to find your information. You had to learn that. And so you had to be open to it, and you had to be willing to accept what you have to use the technology to help you. Even the UE library, the online library, in terms of using their UE link to get to their online library. That even itself was a little bit at first, and I will tell any new student that can be a bit overwhelming, because the amount of time sometimes you have to search through different documents, and some of them are not there or no longer active. So it can sometimes be a little bit tedious. But if you understand that this is how research is done, and you accept that, you get to appreciate and understand your growth as you go. Research is not a one-off thing, like quick find it. It takes time. So that's something that I had to adapt to and understand how to use the technology to my advantage. And as Kessa said, to use other students who are with me to help me get by as well.
And let me just add to what Shane was saying. I know we spoke about pairs, but your course instructors are very helpful. I don't be afraid to ask questions. I remember the first time for one of my courses, I accidentally uploaded my assignment to the wrong Turnitin. And then when I re-uploaded it, it flagged me as having 100% plagiarism. And I messaged my course instructor, and right away he was able to fix it. And he was telling me, okay, make sure you do this the next time. So it's not just your peers, it's also
Yeah,
your course instructors. They're very helpful in
yeah,
that sense.
yeah. I can't say I've met anyone who was not helpful at all. I agree with that.
I mean, some even send you the links to the textbooks that you need.
Correct.
They help you out a lot.
I
Oh,
even had I even had some literally personally called me on my personal device to say, hey,
Yeah.
I was checking something, I really didn't see it from you. Can you check and see if you uploaded it properly? And I thought that extra touch made me realize they cared about my academic growth more than just checking boxes on their end. And I found that to be a really helpful and beautiful thing to keep to have.
Yeah, I mean, there are some course instructors that actually have WhatsApp groups for their courses, especially when
Hmm.
it's small. So with the degree I did, I had electives that I was able to do. So I had courses where there were just like 12 of us. So the course instructor would actually create a group, remind us, you have this coming up, you have this assignment. I noticed group 5 hasn't posted yet. What's going on? It's close to the deadline. So that was very helpful as well.
that is very heartwarming to hear. It sounds very live and direct. I know some persons may have the notion that when you're studying online, you're there in on the internet space just alone. If you want to speak to your instructors, you have to schedule an appointment. But how both of you are relating your experiences, it sounds like if the person is just a finger touch away.
Yeah, sometimes, and I will admit, there are sometimes, it took a little while to get information back, like you sent emails. But I always say put things in context. They're not just dealing with one set of students, some of them are dealing with
Hmm.
different courses.
And they
Yes.
So they
also have
have a
jobs.
multitude.
A lot of them have jobs outside of being course instructors
Right.
at uni. So you have to take that into consideration. But for
Hmm.
the most part, I got responses right away from most of my course instructors. There are one or two, they might take a day or two to answer, but in general, you get responses right away.
Awesome. I know before earlier Shane would have mentioned about the affordability and in terms of finances. So for those who are listening who that may be a concern for them, we have a payment plan option here at the UWI Global Campus for our students to finance their studies. Did either of you use that option, or if there were any other outlets you use, like grants or scholarships to finance your studies?
No, I didn't use that option. I
Mm-hmm.
paid every semester in full, but it's
Okay.
still affordable compared to your other, when you look around at the other universities. I mean, what you pay for a semester in EC, it's probably about like $3,000, a little above
Mm-hmm.
that. Where else can you go and pay $3,000 per semester
Yeah.
and get a bachelor's degree at the end?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And well, for me, I actually at first I was paying every semester, but then I said, you know what, let me just try the installments. And I did the installments. And for me, the installments were a lot easier to manage. They were not hard to do. I never encourage anyone, if you can't do the full payment upfront, do the installments and go from there. I mean, the first thing when I did, when I came to UE, the office here, the office girls, the office ladies, they said to me straight, there's going to be some sacrifices you're going to have to make, and financially and time are going to be too. So they do tell you at the orientation, they do let you know, listen, these are things that are going to happen. If you can't do upfront, do the monthly payments and just know this is a commitment. So I looked at it as if it was like if I'm paying for a vehicle, a car, something that I'm going to be using. So
Yeah.
that money was coming out. I know every month I was making sure I paid so that I will always be able to access. And I thought that was much easier to handle going forward. As Kessa said, where else can you get a degree? She said ECA would say 2,500 Barbados dollars a month, a semester. Where
Mm-hmm.
else around where are you going to get that sort of degree for online degree for a good price? So yeah.
Yeah. Awesome. And I hope the persons online are listening to both of you right now because you're really dropping some really great advice for them. Even tips like coming to the orientation and making themselves available for that initial information that is so mandatory, that is so
Mhm.
important for students as they go through their life cycle. So I
I
hope they're listening.
I wanted to add too, and because I was part of the guild, I will always say that there are things that there are ways to, if you have issues financially too, you can reach out to the guild. You can reach out to your land, to the office sites and say to them, hey, because the university does offer small bursaries. The guild does offer a guild fund, a guild bursary, or I would what we call a guild incentive for the students to help them, a guild grant, sorry, which is the right word I was looking for. That has helped a lot of students every second semester. It has helped them. So, because second semester you're coming out of the Christmas and the
Yeah.
celebrations, and so sometimes
The
finances may
money
not be
gone.
right. And then you get paid earlier in December, so you have a
Mhm.
longer time to the next pay time, depending if you're
Exactly.
monthly. So some people prefer that does help a lot. So it's just a matter of communication.
Yeah,
So yeah.
awesome. Awesome. Shane is telling everyone how to get through the 6 months of January.
And it all goes back to not being afraid to ask for help. I think
It's,
with everything at UE, don't be
Mhm.
afraid to ask for help. And there's nothing that is far-fetched or there's nothing that's a stupid question. There's nothing that seems outlandish. Don't be afraid to ask for questions. Don't be afraid to ask for help.
Mm.
right,
Awesome. Shane, you
right.
wanted to say something?
I was gonna say, and
Hmm.
something I'll add is there are guild representatives. Each island has a chapter.
Hmm.
I was a chapter chair for Barbados, so I can tell you. And don't be afraid to use the chapters, the chapter chairs, the chapters. Find out who your chapter representatives are, and don't be afraid to reach out to them and speak to them and let them know, hey, I need help, I need assistance, or we had a mental awareness time. So use the guild of students, executive body, chapter
Hmm.
chairs, or the regional executives. They will help you. So
Okay,
there's a lot.
awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. So we know where you're studying. As you said, both of you are working in your fields. Part of the access with coming to the UWA Global Campus was that convenience, not having to give up your jobs. Shane spoke about being a father, being a husband, and we know everyone's life isn't just this straight line. Oh, you wake up and you study. You have to go to work. You have other extracurricular activities. You have other commitments. How did both of you balance that with your studies?
I think you just need to make sure that you stay one step ahead of everything. So
Mhm,
as soon as an assignment is posted, what I would do, I wouldn't finish the assignment the same night, but I
mhm,
would start brainstorming. I would start looking for my information that I'm going to use, look for all whatever research that I have to do because the time creeps on you so fast and by the time you check, it's the deadline. And then you have your work commitments, and then you forgot you told that friend you were going to help them with something. So just don't waste time. Don't procrastinate. As soon as you have the opportunity, don't leave anything for tomorrow. Because when you start leaving it for tomorrow, that's when the deadlines are going to creep up on you.
Correct. And even as a husband, I had to make time, and a father, I had to make time to balance for time with my family
mhm,
and support. Let me tell you something. One thing I would say is if you're in a relationship, you're married, or in a living relationship, as in you're living together with someone, may not be married, but you're living together, support is the number one thing that helps you get through. When I say support, I mean your counterpart, maybe your spouse, boyfriend,
mhm.
or girlfriend, supporting you and encouraging you and helping you goes a long way in
Yeah.
encouraging you and motivating you to push forward. And then for me to balance time, what I used to do, I made sure that on certain like Sundays, I would do my best. That Sundays I would spend time with family. I would try Saturdays to spend time because I understood that even though yes, I may have assignments, I try to make sure I balance it. And if I knew I had a deadline coming up, and as I say Sunday at 11:59, I would let my wife know, hey, hon, Sunday, I'm going to be most of the evening, afternoon time. I'm going to be just trying to complete the assignment and get it in. And the encouragement was there. And that's something that helps. And I will always tell people support, support, support. Make
Mhm,
sure that when you're doing this, that you have that support if you're in a relationship with the other person to understand, I'm not giving up on you. Just
mhm,
support me. In the long run, you're going to see it's going to work out for all of us. So for me, balancing was not hard,
mhm,
but just something that I needed to pay attention to. Even at work, as Kesha said, with work, my hours of work changed when I got promoted. So my hours were no longer straight 8 to 4, 4:30. My hours were like from 7:15, sometimes to 6:30, as you know, manager leaving late. So
mhm,
I now also had to understand that there was less time in the evening than before, but I was able to manage that and I knew the sacrifice. So always remember that the sacrifice that you're having and what your end game is.
mhm.
Yeah, and just to add before we move on, take time to relax too. I mean,
Mhm.
it can't always be about work. You
Exactly.
you need to take time to relax. Yeah, you might
Mhm,
have a million and one things to do, but if you're
mhm,
already stressed out and you're starting an assignment stressed out, you're not going to make any progress. You need to relax and then start again.
Correct.
Don't do anything. As much as I said, don't leave anything for tomorrow. Pace yourself so
mhm,
that you don't find yourself in a situation where you're rushing and you can still afford to take time for yourself and take time to relax.
Correct. And although we were studying, I was spending money monthly, we still found time to take vacations as a family. During
mhm.
the summer, during the Christmas, we still
Yeah.
took phone time because that was very important. As you said, perfectly said it.
Mhm,
Find time for R&R to
mhm,
refresh yourself, to rejuvenate yourself. You are correct.
mhm. It's a matter of weaving it into your studies because some students they get
Correct.
so tunnel vision on the studies that they forget that there is still more to life. You still have to balance and you still have to be there for your loved ones as well.
Correct. And one thing I was encouraging all the students, I was telling them, do not bite off more than you can chew.
Hmm.
Because I saw a lot of students were trying to do 5 and 6
Yeah,
courses
yeah.
at one time.
Yeah.
I said, don't do that.
Which we do not recommend. Yeah.
Pace yourself.
Yeah.
two to three, maybe maximum four. And I also do four is for me personally, four is for those who are, single, you're home, fine. But if you have a family, two to three, because it can become very overwhelming when you put too much on your plate.
Yeah, I used to tell people, I mean, if UE is literally not recommending you take on those
Mhm.
additional courses, why are y'all doing that to
Yeah,
yourself?
yeah.
Correct.
So
Correct.
some advice from two of our most recent graduates. We know that the graduation has been postponed due to the passing of Hurricane Melissa in Jamaica, and our graduation will now be in January 2026. But I want to ask both of you, I know you're looking forward to that graduation, and what have you been doing since you completed your studies at the global campus?
I'm actually looking into starting my master's, so
Mm,
that is something I'm just, looking around to see where
mhm.
exactly I want to pursue my master's with. I know UE has options too, so they're definitely one of my
The
options,
contenders,
but
yeah.
I haven't made up my mind yet.
For me, enjoying not being able to have it to study. That's no,
No.
because you need that break.
Mm,
Right? I know there's some students who would say, no, I want to go straight into my master's. And kudos, kudos to you. If that's what you want to do. Go right ahead, go for it. I would encourage it. But for me, the break was welcome. And right now I'm just learning into my position, my new position, getting myself better. And then, yes, I'm actually still looking online to see where I can pursue my master's because there's a
mhm,
particular type of course master's I want to do that unfortunately UE doesn't offer yet. And I'm hoping soon to do, which is a master's in leadership and AI.
okay.
So, as the world is going into AI, I would love to see some
Mhm.
more master degrees in AI, something more stuff in AI, so that I can become, well
Yeah, that
versed
would
going
definitely
forward.
help you better with marketing.
Correct. And not just marketing in general.
In
If I
general,
decide to
yeah.
go any direction, I have an AI background because that's where the world is going.
Yeah.
Um, so that's what I'm looking at. I'm actually looking at starting maybe some small certificate courses just to keep
Mhm.
myself going. But that will be next year. I said I will take the year
Which we
to
also
enjoy.
offer at the
Yes.
States.
Yes, I know. Yes, you do. Yes, you do.
Yes, I've actually done certification with UE already. I did an AML one some time back.
Mhm.
Yeah, and it was a good experience.
That's awesome. I'm glad that both of you are still, you're finding time to relax and catch back yourself, so to speak, as well as still looking to further your studies in your chosen areas. So I hope those who are watching us, who are listening to us, that you remember that you can be like Makessa and Shane here in a few years telling your story. Remember, our applications are still open for January 2026. So if you're inspired by what you are hearing today, you can visit us at global.ue.edu/apply and take the next step towards your educational journey. Could you all believe we just have about 18 more minutes to our program? And we've had so much information, so much knowledge from these two pelicans here this evening. And I know sometimes, as Shane would have said, there were persons that supported him. If you just want to take a minute each to just shout out those family members, co-workers, friends, even lecturers who would have helped you along this journey.
My family should be watching. My parents, Tessa and Makarian, my brother, I don't know if he's watching, and Jem. I think that's about the only people I sent.
Oh my goodness, this list couldn't be long. There are so many people that I can call out. In terms of colleagues, let me say I can say my wife Chantel, who encouraged me to pursue and to go forward. Her support was the biggest support of all, and then I would say Miss Archie Walters, I wish Walters Archie from
On
the
student support.
yes, yes. There's so many people I've met. I've met so many people in UE. It's amazing. To my past guild presidents, Olson Brown, even on the new current guild president, President is it Joyette, who is amazing. There are people I've met, Leon Dawson, so many
Mm,
people. I must say I'm one of the people that I can say I've had an amazing journey.
mhm,
And
mhm.
the people I will feel bad to call names without calling everyone's name
Yeah,
because
that's why
there's
I
a
just
lot of
stuck to
people.
family. Just stick to
There's a lot
family.
of people that made my journey wonderful. I am being honest. I'm being honest. So, but to
Oh,
all
I
of
know
you,
you
if you
are.
hear me saying here, to
Yes.
all those who played a vital part, thank you so much. Thank you.
Yeah, awesome,
Yeah, I
awesome,
agree with
awesome.
Shane. That's why I just decided to stick to my
To keep
immediate
it
family
simple,
because
yeah.
if I have to call the names of every single person who had
Mm,
an impact on my journey,
mhm.
I mean, we'd run out of time.
Yeah, understandable.
Yeah.
So, as both of you continue to grow your careers, for those who I know Shane would have alluded to it earlier when he mentioned some of the courses he learned and he didn't expect. As you transition more and develop your professional careers, what part of your academic experience at the UWA Global Campus would you say was most useful, if there is such a part?
I would say dealing with people.
Mhm,
Because working with people who you can't see, if you can manage those people well and get them to come together and be able to have a focus, a singular focus on a singular goal, that says a lot. That says a lot. Working and understanding each person's character
mhm,
and their abilities and inabilities and being able to mesh everything for the common goal, for the good.
mhm,
I've taken that from what I've learned from my time at UE and even the ability to do research on my own, to look for things, to achieve things on my own. I've taken all of that, and that has helped me in terms of leading people and self development.
mhm,
So I would say that was one of the greatest things that you will help me to understand is being able to lead people or and to work in a team of people because
mhm,
actually where I work, I don't just we don't I work at a place called HK Barbados, and that's a
mhm.
global company.
Yeah.
So there are times I'm not dealing with people just in Barbados. I'm dealing with
Mhm,
people in Panama, in Costa Rica, in Mexico, in Chile. So I'm able to use my that skill set I've learned from UE
life
and
skills.
apply it
Yeah.
correct and apply it to my job right now. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, it definitely teaches you patience as well because you're dealing with so many different personalities. And every now and then you come across that one stubborn person in the group that you just have to, I mean, you have to keep it professional. You can't
Mhm,
just, so it definitely teaches you patience.
mhm.
Yes.
Awesome. So, as we look to wrap up soon, I want both of you to think back on your journey from the first day to now. What advice would you give to prospective students? What would you want them to know about the value of a degree from the UWA Global Campus? And what would you like them to know about making the most of their experience starting in January?
I
I
would
would
say that,
say, okay, go ahead, go ahead. Go ahead.
no, go ahead. That's
Go
okay.
ahead.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Okay, I would say that education is one of the most powerful tools that you can have right now. A lot of people will say, oh, a degree doesn't make you rich, a degree doesn't give you that. Yeah, it might not make you the next Bill Gates, but it will definitely take you to a better position in your career. It will definitely improve your life to
Yeah.
some extent. And the people who say, a degree doesn't mean anything, yeah, but not having one is not something that you should, in this day and age, I think at least your bachelor's degree is a necessity right now. I mean, there are jobs you look at 10, 15 years ago, they would take you with just A levels. Now they're asking for master's degrees for a lot of jobs. So
It's
I
very
think,
competitive. Mhm.
mhm,
Yes.
So I think education is one of the most powerful tools you can have right now.
Correct. I will add to that. I'd say, as she said, my father always taught me knowledge is power. And that's something that no one cannot take from you. So the more knowledge you have and wisdom, the more power and abilities you can garner, I should say, to go forward. In terms of for the new prospective students, I would say this to you: go in with the open mind that and the understanding that this is a sacrifice for your greater good. And Rome was not built in a day, the world was not built in a day.
Mhm.
So it's going to take time. There are going to be times where it's going to be stressful. There are going to be times where you feel that you want to pull out your hair,
Mhm.
but there are times you're going to be happy when you see your marks, when you see good marks come back, when you see people saying well done, and you get that personal vindication. You feel great about your accomplishment. Um, don't be afraid to even share your experiences with your fellow peers who are there with you, and because some of them need that encouragement to see that, well, if you get into that, I mean, I could do it too.
Mhm.
And I will always say, don't be afraid to join some things in the UE, in the global campus, because the global campus needs powerful minds, needs good minds, needs young minds. The guild, the chapters, they need people to help build the the family environment
Yeah.
of the global campus among the student body to show that we are a voice, we're here, and to help the actual global campus understand. It's like an employee, when you have an employee versus the employer, to have that bridge and to have that understanding how to grow together for the common good of not just university and yourself, but for the Caribbean. So I will always say, understand what you're doing may not affect just you, but also affects a wide set of people around you. Your
Mhm.
footprint can last, but leave a legacy.
Wow.
To add
Oh,
to what Shane said, just some advice for prospective students. If there was one thing that I'd like to share with them, it's don't let failure define you. Instead, use it to fuel you to do better. I
Correct.
remember I had a course where I did not get the best grade. It wasn't a fail, but it was not the best grade. And I said, okay, I need to make sure the group assignment is perfect. I need to
mhm.
make sure I do excellent on my quiz. And I ended the course with an A plus.
Mhm.
So
Well done.
don't let one bad grade define you. Just use it as motivation to do better.
Yeah.
Correct.
Because people might see a
Correct.
bad grade, they'll be like, oh my God, I'm going to fail this course. No,
Yeah. Yeah.
there's still hope.
Yeah. And
It's
both
true.
of you are have first class honors, correct? Right. So that's
Yes,
a lot
I
of hard work.
Yes.
I was actually shortlisted as a valedictorian.
Oh,
So
yes. That
yes,
Congratulations.
is so true. Congratulations on that.
Congratulations.
thank you.
Correct.
So hard work does pay off.
It
Those who are
does.
listening, you're seeing it here before your very eyes. You're hearing about it from Shane and Makessa. And we want to remind you once again, you've listened, you've heard them, they've given you so much great advice, they've given you pointers and tips, and you've heard their journey. It's not easy, but it's worth it. And we want to remind you that applications remain open for all programs for the semester starting January 2026. So you have until Monday, December 15th to apply for your undergraduate programs. That is your BSc, your bachelor's in education, your certificate programs, and programs such as those. And you have until Sunday, November 30th to apply for the postgraduate programs like the master's, postgrad diplomas as well as the doctoral program. You can find the application online by logging on to global.ue.edu/apply. That is global.ue.edu/apply. So we want to thank those who are watching, who are listening, for joining us today and for making the program a success. Special thanks to our panelists, Makessa from St. Lucia and Shane from Barbados, for joining and telling us their stories. On behalf of all of us here at the UWA Global Campus, we wish you continued success in whatever you put your hands to do and your minds. We know that you, based on the foundation that you have laid, during the course of your studies. We know that you will continue to do great things. We want to say thanks to Mr. Patrick Johnson, our technical personnel who is assisting us with this broadcast. So, to those who are listening once again in today's discussion, you heard from our graduates in their own words how the UWA Global Campus opens doors to life-changing learning, lifelong learning, and growth across the Caribbean and beyond. We hope you feel inspired to start your own journey with us as soon as possible in January 2026. And we thank you for joining. So until next time, I am Cherise Glasgow. Bye.
All right, great.
Yes,
All right,
thanks,
Sharon.
Patrick.
Yeah.
Yeah.